Millions in Syria and Iraq are facing water shortages as the region's longest river, the Euphrates, dries up.
The Euphrates is drying up, and it is handing back secrets that were buried for thousands of years. This legendary river, one of the oldest named places in all of human history, once nourished the world's very first civilizations. Over the centuries, its waters swallowed entire cities, tombs, and fortresses, hiding them completely from view. But now the Euphrates has shrunk to its lowest levels in living memory. And as it pulls back, the cracked earth of its banks and riverbed is giving those secrets up, one by one. Ancient structures thought lost forever are climbing back into the sunlight, some of them thousands of years old. Archaeologists are now racing against the clock to study them, before the waters one day return to claim them again. And what has surfaced from below is the kind of discovery that sounds almost impossible to believe. Ancient tombs, carved straight into solid rock, have risen out of the retreating Euphrates in western Iraq. In the Anbar province, as the river dropped lower and lower, cliffs that had been fully submerged rose back into the light. And cut into those stone faces were burial chambers dating to before the Christian era, resting places swallowed by the water decades ago when the region was flooded. For the very first time, archaeologists could actually reach them, clambering across ground that had spent years beneath the surface. Close by, they uncovered fragments of Roman-era pottery too, scattered across a site no living person had ever properly explored. Picture it for a moment. Standing at the edge of a shrinking river, staring up at tombs the water had kept hidden for so very long. A whole lost city has risen from the Euphrates near the ancient Iraqi town of Anna. This old settlement had been hidden beneath the water for years, and as the river surrendered more and more ground, its structures gradually reappeared, like a memory resurfacing after a very long sleep. This stretch of the river has always held extraordinary history. When the great dams were first built and the valleys flooded, countless ancient places simply vanished beneath the new lakes, remembered only by the oldest residents nearby. Now, the drought is briefly undoing all of it. Whole chapters of the past, thought gone for good, are being handed back. Locals describe watching the outlines of ancient walls emerge from the shallows, a sight both wondrous and quietly unsettling, as though the river itself were remembering. A sunken castle, complete with a hidden temple, has climbed back out of the Euphrates in eastern Turkey. This is Hastek Castle in the Aegean region, a fortress that disappeared beneath the rising waters of a dam back in the 1970s. For roughly half a century, it lay silent and forgotten under the reservoir. Then the drought bit hard, the water fell, and layer by layer, the castle rose back into view. Explorers who reached it found large chambers, sections resembling a rock-cut tomb, and an area believed to be an ancient temple, thought to predate Christianity itself. There were even carved openings, once used for light and air. Standing walls, emerging dripping from a lake after 50 years. It is the sort of scene you would expect in a legend, not in real life. Ancient texts, written thousands of years ago, appear to describe this exact moment, the drying of the Euphrates. And that is where the story turns genuinely spine-tingling. Both major religious traditions of the region contain striking passages about this very river running dry. In the Bible, the book of Revelation speaks of a time when the great river Euphrates will have its water dried up, preparing the way for events of enormous importance. An old Islamic tradition, meanwhile, tells of the Euphrates receding to uncover a mountain of gold beneath it, warning people not to fight over the treasure it reveals. For centuries, these were simply ancient mysteries on a page. But now, as the river shrinks to a state never seen in living memory, people around the world are asking whether they are watching old prophecy quietly come true. Dams and drought, not the supernatural, are the real reason the Euphrates is vanishing, and the truth is alarming enough on its own. The single biggest factor is the huge network of dams built upstream, especially in Turkey, which hold back enormous volumes of water before it can ever flow down into Syria and Iraq. On top of that, the region is suffering one of its worst droughts in a century. Rising temperatures are melting less snow in the distant mountains that feed the river, while brutal heat evaporates more water than ever before. Satellite data has uncovered something frightening. This river basin is losing its stored water at one of the fastest rates found anywhere on the entire planet. So, while the tombs and castles are wondrous, the force revealing them is a deepening crisis for millions of people. The dying Euphrates is a tragedy and a wonder tangled tightly together. Every ancient tomb, every sunken castle, every lost city that climbs back into the light is a breathtaking gift to history, a rare glimpse into worlds we believed were gone forever. And yet each one appears only because a mighty, life-giving river is slowly dying of thirst. The same waters that once cradled the very birth of human civilization are now retreating, revealing the bones of the past while threatening the future of everyone who depends on them. Perhaps that is the real message here. The Euphrates is not simply uncovering ancient secrets. It may be offering us a warning. And the only question left is whether we are truly listening. The Euphrates once hid a city so remarkable, it has been called the Pompeii of the desert, Dura Europos. Perched on the river's bank in what is now Syria, this astonishing place was founded around 300 years before Christ, and over the centuries, it was home to Greeks, Persians, and Romans, all layered one on top of another. Then it was abandoned and slowly buried by the sands and silt of the Euphrates, sealing its secrets away. When it was uncovered, what came to light stunned the world. Inside its walls stood the oldest known Christian house of worship ever found, alongside a beautifully painted ancient synagogue, their walls still vivid with figures thousands of years old. It is a place where the deep roots of entire faiths were quietly preserved by the river, a treasure that history very nearly lost forever. The Euphrates could vanish entirely within our lifetime, and that is not a fear, but an official warning. Iraq's own Ministry of Water Resources has cautioned that this mighty river, which has flowed since the dawn of civilization, may run completely dry by the year 2040. The numbers behind that warning are genuinely staggering. At the Syrian border, the river's flow has collapsed from around 920 cubic meters every second back in the 1990s down to roughly 200 in recent measurements. That is a fraction of what it once was. Scientists project that rainfall across the region could fall by up to a third within decades, while the fierce heat keeps rising. A river that watered the very first cities on Earth, that fed empires for 5,000 years, is now being measured for how many years it has left, and the clock is ticking louder every single season.